Amber, so glad that you're here. I just told you you're a badass.
Oh,
amazing. It was so awesome to watch you just take that strength and like that female power and just rock it. Like that was I loved it. So one of the intentions of Seeing Red is to amplify Indigenous voices, storytellers, the people that are in the industry that are telling our stories and sharing their voices. Tell us a little bit about your story, Amber. How did it begin? Where did you start from, and where are you now?
I mean, I've just always had that passion and that desire to do what I do. Like ever since I was just a little kid, I was like making up stories and playing pretend, and like I would memorize like full episodes of like my favorite TV shows and stuff like that. And so it's just like always the thing that I like felt drawn to and called to. And like both of my parents like work in the film business, and so I did like see their jobs growing up, but they were really good about like keeping that separate from me, so I never understood that like what I was enjoying as a kid was like what they did for work. So it wasn't until I was like older that I understood that, and I had to like find that like path for myself. Like I was just listening to Wes Studi talk, and he talked about like that you can't follow anybody else's path really, and we've always talked about that in my family, that like I think the way that each person gets their way in, it's like a portal that like closes behind you, and like it's like one of one, and that's really how I feel. But it's always just been that like it comes down to like a very simple like love for this thing that I'm doing of like creating and storytelling and like playing pretend and getting to like see and experience different lives and people and places. And that I've just never, I've truly just like never given up. Like even in times that I had no reason to like have certain opinions about things, or, I had no big roles to back me up. I had lots of ideas about what I did and didn't want to do. And I don't know why, but I think it's just like that. There's something about like when there's something that you love and absolutely nothing can stop you. That's always how I felt.
I love that. That's so cool. So this movie, this Prey movie, what was that like? Just give me, the Coles notes on what that experience was like on that set.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many things that I think about when I think of it, but I think really like the set experience was a lot of work, honestly. It was a lot more work than I've ever had to do. And it was honestly really amazing for me because we shot on Stoney Nakoda Reserve land, and I'm Shahia Nakota. So like for me, that just like automatically like made me feel at ease, And we had a primarily Indigenous cast, and I've never had that before in a work environment. So like to be around so many other Indigenous people, there was again like another level of just like comfort and understanding and like, things that are unspoken that you don't get with other people who don't share your culture, come from similar cultures. And really I think it's been like since the film has come out, like I really cared that the movie did good by Indigenous people, but I didn't expect it to be like embraced as much as it was. I just didn't want it to be bad. I just didn't want it to like go the other way. I didn't like expect people, to love it. I think that like in my wildest dreams, like that's the thing I was shooting for, but you don't expect that. So like to hear like what you said to me of like, oh, like the woman power, and like thinking about like, I was visiting the Comanche Nation in Oklahoma, and I saw like young Comanche girls like dressed up like Nadu on their like they had the Comanche fair, and they had like floats where like little girls were dressed like Nadu, and it literally like it just made me so emotional because it's like we've never gotten heroes, and we've never gotten female heroes especially, and we've never gotten to see ourselves reflected back to us in a way that we're proud of. We've never been able to like see, or we've rarely been able to like project ourselves in the way that we feel, which is like, and the way that we deserve to be seen, which is like strong and heroic since the very beginning. We've always been innovative and intelligent and all these things. And so to be able to like share that with our own people and then other people too, and be like, this is who we are, has been really cool.
Amazing. So why do you think, because you've seen it, you know, on different sets, why do you think it's important to have that Indigenous representation, whether it's behind the cameras, in the design, in the makeup, in the hair, in the photography, and just have that Indigenous presence?
There's just something that we have that other people don't have. Like, you know, I think that it's like inside of our DNA to be, it's just like when you grow up like with the traditions or in the culture or whatever, you know, however that is, like if you grow up on the res or you grow up being an urban Indian or whatever, like there's just something that's in you that I think helps you see and approach different things a certain way. It's like almost like having a superpower, you know, like it's especially storytelling. To me, it's like that's what we've been doing for forever. So whatever your medium is, if you're an actor or you're a photographer or a DP or a writer or whatever, like you take not just like the skill that you have, but the skill that like we as a collective all carry. And I think we have like abilities and perspectives that are completely unique to us, and that I think gives us a really great like advantage and thing that people have never seen before.
So why is it important for people to keep supporting Indigenous voices and actors and movies? Why is it important that people listen?
I mean, it's important that people listen to us because we have things to say that nobody else can. We know things, we've seen things, we've experienced things that, you know, nobody else can speak to besides us. And it's important too that, you know, I think when, especially like young Indigenous people, like when youth feel called to something like that, like storytelling or, you know, being a protector of some kind or like fighting for any sort of thing, I think it's so important to like always stay focused on that and to never give that up, because that's the only way that we'll get that attention, you know, like Wes said it before. He was like, to be listened to, you have to speak. And I agree with that completely, that it's like, it's important for all of us to know that our voices and everything that we have to say are really valuable. So people should listen to us just based on that fact, that what we have to say really matters, and it's important that we know that too.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so if you're watching out there, maybe your words for the world, what's the message you want them to hear?
Never stop, never give up.
Never stop. There's like that picture that comes to my head of the frog choking the stork that's eating him. He's like, never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. So what do you do when you feel like you want to give up?
I think just remember that, and remember that there's people who really believe in you, and that there's people probably that you haven't even met yet who will benefit from whatever it is that you might be feeling like you should quit in that moment.
Yeah, that's powerful. Amazing. Thank you so much, Amber, for taking some time to share the story. Love it. Girl power.
Yeah.
Check out Pray. It's so bomb.